Good morning, traders. Welcome to your London analysis on today, February the 23rd. Right, so what's been going on in the news? Obviously, it's all been about Russia. We're seeing sanctions against Russia from the US, Japan, Australia, Canada. Obviously, the US dollar has kind of been quite significant in terms of lots of safe haven flows in and out, depending on what's been going on with Russia. But overnight, we had a hawkish rate hike from the Reserve Bank of New Zealand. So, looking to buy the New Zealand dollar. Now, news-wise, we've got a fairly clean day in terms of nothing much out other than the monetary policy report hearings over from the UK. So, that could be potentially interesting for later on in the session. But for now, I'm looking to buy into the New Zealand dollar. So if we have a look at some charts, as you can see, we've got a fairly decent intraday trend to the upside. And sort of I'm looking to buy in. There's a couple of levels I'm potentially interested in. So we've got this 23% retracement level here. If price retraces back to there, I'll be going long and trying to chase it back up for around 30 odd pips. If it doesn't, then we'll wait and see what happens mid-session. So at the moment, I'm kind of waiting for a bit of a pullback, so I can kind of enter when there's a bit more pressure to the upside. So that's what I'm waiting for at the moment. So if I was to kind of set an order up, I'd be looking to go long at around 0.67656. Take profit-wise, I'll be looking at 0.67920. So in terms of how I manage the risk on these, the bottom line is I look for a nice big stop in an area where there's not really been any price action. And then what I do is, ahead of any news releases, I'll tighten that stop loss up significantly. So when there's any actual real risk to the trade on these kind of setups, and I've moved the stop loss, normally I'm running at about a 0.3 to 0.5% risk at that point. So that's sort of what I work towards. But yeah, so that's the level I'm interested in at the moment. Again, with the UK, I'll be interested to see what comes out of the monetary policy reports. If there's anything remotely dovish on that, I'll definitely be looking at the pound New Zealand as well. We have a look at the charts anyway, just to see how it's looking on that currency pair. So, pound New Zealand. So what we can see here again is a fairly significantly bearish trend on the intraday 15-minute chart. So in terms of looking at levels, I would look to short again. The 23 and the 38%, even the 50, they're all showing significant signs of support and resistance. So there could all be decent trading levels to look at. But again, I am waiting to find out what happens first from the monetary policy statement from the UK first, okay? But definitely a pair of interest. But for now, I'm looking at long buys on the New Zealand US. So based on the hawkish rate hike from New Zealand and based on the uncertainty and the sanctioning going on between the US and Russia. And then, of course, the same goes for the New Zealand. Only we're waiting to find out what happens with the monetary policy report. All right, guys, so I'll post that setup to the room shortly. And if you've got any questions, give me a shout. Cheers.